Hi, this is Hamie from Heavy Pettin, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast. Take it live.
Brutally Delicious!
Cool, so we're back.
Do I have a second? I got to put some Vagisil on my dog's paw.
Can I use that in the podcast?
Yeah. Just give me 1 second. I'll just stay on the line. I won't be long. I'm back. Sorry about that. I know it sounds funny, but he's got a yeast infection on his paws. And
you never know what you're going to hear on the Brutally Delicious podcast. Jesus.
Hey, man. If it works down there, it can work on a dog's paw. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. Have you listened to any of the new Slipknot or the new Korn?
No, I haven't.
I was never the biggest fan.
Yeah.
And so I still am not. And I know that's probably going to go against everybody out there listening because everybody's buying it. But I don't know that everybody's not buying it because it's Slipknot and Korn and not really giving a shit that it's
Slipknot and Korn.
Slipknot and Korn, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. You know, one thing that I would like to talk about too is the new Tool. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I was like, I kept waiting for it to like break open like a Tool song, and it just was 10 minutes of just nothing.
Yeah. So all three of those, I was very underwhelmed, I think is the best word.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to spend 10 years making a record, at least put out a good first single. Like maybe the rest of the record's good, I don't know, but
I don't know. And maybe, we're going to lose listeners for that, or I don't know. I don't know if Dale or Christina listen to this, but
if you're upset by my Tool comments, feel free to drop me a line.
Right. Go see Kris. He'll put some Vagisil on your paws. Or anywhere else, you may need Vagisil. Jesus.
Where the hell is this podcast going?
All right. So today, on today's Brutally Delicious podcast, by the way, I'm Bruce Moore.
And I'm Kris Seegers.
And we're going to speak with the heavy metal legends, Heavy Pettin.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys I remember listening to them back in the late 80s, mid 80s, whatever it was. I know they were from Scotland. I know they opened up for a lot of big bands, hit the road with Ozzy. I believe they did some shows with Sabbath, and they were out there. And,
I've never heard them before. So just before we came on, I listened to In and Out of Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Decent tune.
Yeah. They were I hate to say it, but stereotypical 80s stuff. It was right along the lines of Bon Jovi or any of those other really big produced 80s bands.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, just looking at the names of their songs, In and Out of Love, Broken Heart, Love on the Run, Love Times Love, Victims of the Night, shout it out, like hardcore 80s song titles.
Yeah, very anthemic. I don't know if that's a word, but very, you know what I'm talking about? Fist pumping.
It's arena rock.
Yeah, good stuff. So let's go ahead and try.
Like, In and Out of Love,
Yeah.
Arms in the air.
One other thing I wanted to say, and I'm going to put this out there for everyone. I think our show may be the veritable or proverbial rabbit's foot for anybody coming on, because I'm just reading some updates from Oculum Day. Remember Josh did the show with us?
Great guy.
Yeah, they're signed up for a bunch of summer festivals. They've got all kinds of stuff going on.
Oh, that's cool. When we talked to him, he's like, "Oh, we don't know what we're going to do."
Yeah, but maybe it's the Kris Bruce rabbit foot vibe. My own will, I'm taking credit for all this shit, but why not?
Yeah, hey, we did it. They did.
We did it. So
they didn't
if you're listening to this, it was all us. If you're listening to this and you're looking for that big $1 million record deal, just book a show with us.
Yeah, and we'll let you on the show.
Right. All right, let me see if I can get him. Amy, how are you, man?
I'm doing just dandy. I just get back from working out, so I feel like shit, really.
Awesome. Well, that's my partner, Kris, and it's nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Kris, nice to meet you, brother.
You too, man.
How are you today? You doing all right?
Yeah, no, doing fine. Trying to get healthy for this tour.
Yeah.
But, you know, whoever told you that working out and all that stuff's good for you is full of shit.
Well, Hamie, that's going to bring me right to my first question, and I hate to jump right in, but you breached the topic. So how do you prepare for a string of shows or a tour after, doing this for so long and being of a certain age? It's got to be a lot more difficult, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The good thing is it's I've been working out for a while, and I've always been healthy. So that's been a big major plus. But and I don't drink as much as I used to, so that's another added bonus. But so those days are kind of behind me. I drinking a bottle of Jack a day, so that's kind of done. So it's easier now to kind of get up in the morning and everything.
Right.
Cool. But no, it's harder, But it's at the end of the day, it's worth it, And the main thing is it's keeping my voice in shape, So that's the real reason I do it, is just to get all the breathing and keep my voice in shape to hit all these nights. So, but it's cool, man, and I'm enjoying it, and it's working. So it's like the shows we've been doing have been really good, and the press we've got from it, everybody loves it, the fans love it, and so obviously it's working. So I'm going to keep on doing it.
So I'm a fan from I'm going to give away my age here, but I'm a fan from back in the the 80s, mid 80s or whatever it was. Cool. Yeah, I'm a longtime fan.
Awesome.
But Kris is new to you guys and actually new to metal. I'll go ahead and let him explain if you want.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I was a big fan of hair metal in the 80s, but I was pretty young. So my hair metal started in 87, 88. And I just kind of stayed in then I got into the grunge era and whatever. But then I was lucky enough to get invited to a metal festival. And when I went to that metal festival, I really only went just to support my friends who were putting it on.
Yeah.
And, I was stuck on a boat with 3,000 people, and they became my family. Not just the fans.
There you go, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
Not just the fans, but the bands, too. And I stay in touch with all of these people. It's where I met Bruce.
Right.
Originally.
That is awesome.
And so today I just heard my first Heavy Pettin song.
Oh, wow. And which song was that?
In and Out of Love.
Oh God, was it? Yeah, that was the first hit single we ever had in Europe. So
yeah.
And the funny thing now, Kris, is different for Bruce, who's been a fan for a long time. But the new stuff we've got coming out, is I mean, I know everybody lightly says this, but it really is a million times better than the old stuff, because Gordon and I are older, we're more mature in songwriting. And my voice is better, and I'm not screaming and trying to be Rob Halford anymore and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? As much as I love Judas Priest, because they're my heroes, but it's
sure.
The record label wanted us to sing higher and do this, and it was just silly. We just stuck to what we wanted to do, but obviously they're in control, so that kind of sucked at the time. But the new stuff is really, really good. We are really excited about it, and so I look forward to getting your take on it once you hear all the new stuff. Since you've only just Heavy Pettin.
So where can I go hear it?
It's not going to be released yet. We're going to release it in November.
Okay.
We're actually going to play on this tour. We're going to play four new songs in the set. And then we're going to go out. We're going to have a release party in London in November, and then in Glasgow, which is our old hometown kind of stuff. Right. And then we'll do a live set as well for each of these things, and we'll play about 10 songs off the new album. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So it's going to be pretty exciting, and we definitely geared everything around the songs that we write. We can definitely pull them off live. So
gotcha.
So that was the main thing. That was the main criteria when Gordon and I were sitting discussing, okay, what we're going to do, how we're going to write all the new songs. So
right.
But, and Bruce, I mean, you as well. I mean, because obviously since you've been a fan for a while, but it's the same Heavy Pettin, obviously, because me and Gordon are writing the stuff, but it's the vocals, like all the harmonies are all still there and all that kind of stuff. It's just that, you know, technology's caught up a bit, so we use everything. We don't use keyboards or anything, but I mean, everything else, all the sounds are all kind of new and it's heavy. And we've made sure that the guitars are as heavy as shit. So,
nice. Fucking right.
Yeah, so we're really excited about it.
That's awesome. I wish you were playing somewhere here by me on this run, but it's mostly European stuff, right?
Yeah. So are we. I wish hopefully that's all going to happen next year. Once we do the Monsters of Rock cruise, then after that, we've got the new album, and then we'll have all sorts of new people involved with the band as far as looking after us and kind of stuff. So then that's going to start gearing ourselves to start moving further afield now. Instead of just Europe, we'll try and get the American thing sorted out. Yeah. And then Japanese and all that kind of stuff, other places that we used to play. So
you're playing the Monsters of Rock cruise?
Yeah.
When is that?
Well, this would be the first time for us. This is obviously, I think this is number 9 or number 10, I think. And I could be totally wrong in that. But I mean, I've watched it for years, and I've watched all the other bands who I've known for most of my life, you know, being friends with me since the 80s and stuff. Just have a good old time.
Yeah, and you know, you walk around on the boat, you get to see all your fans, they get to see you, and you know, it'll probably be really intimate, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, hopefully so. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I've only saw different videos of certain things like on YouTube and stuff like that. I haven't really saw where everybody plays, you know, what kind of venues you play on the boat. I know there's some right on the decks and whatever, or else there's some indoors inside. I guess they'll get clubs or whatever. I don't know what the deal is. But.
Yeah, they have on the boats. So that was my first metal festival was a cruise. It was 70,000 tons of metal. So the way they have it, they have a pool deck stage, and then the ship has a theater. So there's the theater, and then there's a smaller venue as well.
See, that's cool. I've never been on a cruise. For some reason, I've always steered clear of them. I don't know why. I guess I don't know. I don't really know about it. So I've never been on a cruise, so this would be my first time ever.
It's a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, so we're going to be fans as well, because I'm looking forward to seeing all the other bands.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I think that was one of the coolest experiences of the metal cruises I've been on, is you go to see a band, but all the other bands are there watching the band. You know? In one case, a band was going on, and they wanted to finish 5 minutes early so that they could catch the set of this other band that they wanted to see.
That's funny.
So that would be cool. I mean, hell, that sounds like fun.
So they wanted to start their set 5 minutes early so they could make the set of the other band. I was just like,
that's funny.
That is really cool.
So, Hamie, I don't know. You guys have probably played a few shows, and you're getting ready to play a bunch more. I imagine you're seeing like different generations, like people my age bringing their kids to the show, right? Introducing, and that's got to be a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's kind of weird, because you see people that are our age who are in like their mid-50s and all that kind of stuff, you know, that have been into music for so long, and then you see people in their 40s and 30s and then the 20s, and in fact, we did this show, and it was in Glasgow, so it was the first time we'd ever played back in Glasgow, and that was a year ago, and we were playing with Angel, the old American band Angel.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan. So we were playing with them. We did like 10 shows with those guys, and so we were playing Glasgow, and so I was talking to Punky and stuff, and he's like, man, we've never played here, so I'm telling him all about Glasgow and all this kind of shit, and I'm like, man, it's going to be cool. You and Frankie will dig it, man. It's going to be great. And so we were all out there, and everybody get different meet and greets and all this stuff, and this young girl comes walking up, and I'm like, she's got albums to be signed and stuff, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, oh, sure, no problem, I'll sign it, and I'm asking her name and talking to her, and I'm like, I hope you don't mind me asking, but I said, how old are you? And she goes, I'm 16. And I went, wow. You're shitting me. And she goes, no. I said, well, how did you get into Heavy Pettin? You're 16. And she goes, oh, my mom and dad are fans.
And I said, what, are they here as well? And she's like, oh, yeah, they're over there. And so I get them over. And so it's real cool. So really generational. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so it was real neat. And so then you start seeing all different younger people. You start paying more attention. And it's like, so I think it's cool. So we range the ages for, like I said, they go from that young girl all the way up to, in their 50s. So it's pretty neat.
So I know you mentioned Punky, and I know he turned in his guitar a few years ago. I imagine you still keep in touch with him, but is the writing process a lot different now since he was one of the original members, or?
Yeah, I guess, see, we all wrote different stuff. I mean, we all there's certain songs that we all contributed to. It would either be me, Gordon, Punky, and Gary, that kind of stuff. And then there's the songs that Gary and Gordon wrote. Then there's some songs that me and Punky wrote, and then there's songs that me and Gordon wrote. So when we first started talking about getting it back together, Gordon's like, well, I've got this batch of songs over here. And I said, well, I've got all these songs over here that I've written for years and with different people. And so let's just listen to them. And we listened, and we picked out the best 10 of those. And then we went, okay, well, now we know we've got 10 really cool tunes here. Let's you and me just buckle down and write a bunch of shit and see how all that turns out. And we did, and it was like, damn, man, this doesn't sound half bad. And then, and then we've got a new guitar player who took Punky's place, Dave Aitken. And so Dave joined in, and he came in with a few songs, and we were like, hell, this is awesome. This is better than what it was originally. So, so we were really excited, So I thought it would be a problem, but actually at the end of the day, Bruce, it hasn't turned out to be a problem whatsoever. So,
is he still good? Do you still talk to him?
Oh yeah. In fact, well, I'm hoping we're playing Glasgow in September. We're playing in Holland, and then we come over from Holland and Belgium, and then we're going straight to playing Glasgow, I think. And hopefully, Punky's going to be in town. He's going to be the show.
Oh, so, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be real neat. That would be the first time we've seen him in. I've spoke to him on Facebook and stuff, like messaging each other, but I haven't seen him maybe for about a year and a half, likely. So since he decided to call it a day, because
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, because when we decided to put it back together, me, him, and Gordon met down in London, and we rehearsed, and it was good. But Punky was having a lot of health issues and stuff, and so I was real proud of him that he decided to do one show, and we did this festival in Scotland, and that was going to be the teaser plus the thing to see, okay, let's see if we get a great reaction, then let's talk about getting back together again and really going for it and having fun. And so after we did the show, it went great, and Gordon and I were sitting going, okay, I'm in, and we're like, Punky, you want to do this? And he's like, no, it took everything I had to actually play the guitars in these songs, because he was having problems with his fingers and stuff.
Oh, right.
Man. And so he was having major arthritic kind of problems, whatever. And so it was real difficult for him. And he just says, look, man, no, I won't be able to, I can't play like I used to. And if I can't do that, then, it's going to kill me. So we were like, man, hey, that's cool. You're fine, baby. We love you. It's up to you. If you want to do it, great. If you don't. And so he backed out. And then that's when we get Dave in. So that was pretty neat. So we get another guitar player to take his place.
So how did you meet Dave then?
We've known Dave for, oh God. I mean, the good thing about Dave is Scottish also. So we've known him from the 80s. Or I'd say early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. He was a guitar player in another band and all that kind of stuff, and he was a bit younger than us, but so we'd all known each other because he was a fan of Heavy Pettin, and then he ended up joining, he became the guitar player. I don't know if you guys know, but in the 90s there was a big Scottish band, but they were in Europe and they were called Gun, and and so they toured with everybody, the Stones, Def Leppard, so they played stadiums and all that during the 90s and had a great time, and so they split up. So Dave was a guitar player in Gun for a long, long time. And so then he did his own thing for 10, 15 years, whatever. And then Gordon get in touch with him and said, hey, would you be interested? And he said, before we put this out to everybody, would you be interested in just coming up and jamming with us and seeing if you dig it, if you want to do it? And he's like, yeah. So they called me, and I was like, okay, well, that sounds cool. So I flew over from here in Texas, and I met them in rehearsal studio in London, and we sat with Dave, and it was like, damn, man, okay, this it gelled, it worked straight off the bat. So we were like, okay, well, we don't need to look for another guitar player. You're the guy. So
nice.
Yeah, so it was a really easy process, which was great, because again, that was kind of worrying, because like, well, shit, now we need to find a new guitar player, you know. So, but it was an easy process, and it worked out. It was meant to be, really. I would say that. So that was cool.
Beautiful.
Can I ask what you're doing in Texas?
Well, I used to. Well, I've lived here. I've lived in America for a long, long time, and I played in different bands and did different things, and then I get into real estate, and so I sold a whole bunch. I started working for different companies and sold real estate. Then moved to Texas about 10 years ago and started work for a real estate company here. And so that was it. That's what really brought me. My wife she works in the gas and oil industry.
Okay.
So obviously Texas, Houston is a huge hub for that. So that was the main reason that we were here. But so I was doing real estate until we decided to put the whole band back together, and now I do that full time, because I'm always flying back and forth to London all the time. So.
Oh yeah, no, I just thought we were talking to you from Scotland, and then
no.
I flew from Texas, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm in Houston, Texas, baby.
Nice.
At this moment in time, it's 106 degrees outside my door.
Wow, here's what's funny about this conversation right now.
Here we go.
Yeah. Bruce is the only American, but we all live in America.
Now, wait a second. Hamie, that was 106 degrees Fahrenheit, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Kris is from Canada. He doesn't understand the normal measures of anything.
I don't get Fahrenheit, man. I've been trying for a year and a half. I still don't get it. How long did it take you to convert your brain?
No, I get, yeah. I mean, and now it's the complete opposite, because now when somebody says,
"Thank you,"
like, when I talk to the guys in London and stuff, and they go, "Well, it's 31 degrees, something," and I'm like, "What? What do you mean it's 31 degrees?" And I'm thinking, "Fuck, man, that's got to be cold as shit." And they're like, "No, it's hot," and then they say it's Celsius, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck, okay." So I've totally forgot about that. I'm just Americanized now.
Okay, well, so maybe it'll happen to me.
Somehow on this show, this has become like the running thing of Fahrenheit versus Celsius, and it usually comes up, and Kris will bring it up in almost every conversation. So,
but it's because I'm trying to fucking learn Fahrenheit. It's a nonsensical system.
Yeah. There's too much brain work goes into that stuff when they start. Because I was over there 2 weeks ago. We're playing in Germany. I think we did 8 shows in Germany, and it was hot as crap. And I guess in Britain and Europe, it was the hottest few weeks they've had in years and shit like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And everybody's saying, "Oh man, it's going to be hot today. It's 40 degrees, 40 Celsius, and all that." And I'm like, what? So, but it's just weird, I guess. And the other thing now is Bruce isn't the only American on the show now, because I'm American now as well.
Oh yes. So my theory here, Hamie, is if you're gonna move to America, you got to at least assimilate.
Hey, I'm working on it. I'm working on it, all right? I'm working on it. I've changed.
Well, Kris, how long have you been here?
I've been here since February of 2018.
Oh, well, I mean, that's still time. Hell, it took me, I came here after we did the, God, what tour was it? We did the Rock Ain't Dead World Tour, and that finished in 86, and I went back to do another album in London. I came back here. And I was living in California at the time, and I was sharing an apartment with Tommy Thayer, who's the guitar player for.
Oh,
Kris. Yeah, but back in those days, Tommy was the guitar player for Black and Blue.
Yep.
And So him and I were sharing an apartment, and it was like, oh shit, it's time to. I'm not going back. I'm just going to buy a place here, and that was it. So '86 was like the first time I bought a place here in America, and then I've been here ever since, and just traveled back and forth. Whereas the rest of the guys would come and play, and then fly back to Europe and go to Scotland or London, wherever they were going, and I would just stay in America. So I've been here a long time. So
yeah, my wife moved me down here, and trust me. I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. I've changed everything. I no longer can see Celsius on anything.
And you're driving on the proper side of the road now?
Well, in Canada, it's the same. We drive on the right.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
so is Canada the same? Well, I guess I must be drunk when I'm in Canada, because I was on the other side of the street.
Hey, Kris is usually drunk when he's in America, so we're good.
Well,
that's my boy. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
They call me out of Canada, Kris. That used to be a thing when I go on holidays, but now it's just all the time.
Well, welcome to America, Kris.
I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time down here.
Cool. Well, whereabouts are you living?
I'm living in D.C.
Oh, you are? You're in D.C. Where are you, Bruce?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, okay. That's a beautiful area.
Yeah, I like it here a lot.
I should preface it. I'm not exactly in D.C. I'm in North Virginia, but...
Okay, no, I was thinking that. Yeah, I've got friends that live in D.C., and it's, they live in, what's the place right outside of D.C.?
Arlington?
No, because that's getting to Virginia there. It's,
Georgetown?
Georgetown, yeah, they live in Georgetown. Yeah,
it's nice there.
Yeah.
So, Hamie, years ago, when you guys first split up or whatever, did you ever imagine you'd be putting this thing back together? Was that on the docket, or is it just...
No, not at all. I think because it was like Everett and Bruce, it was like we'd been together for a long time, and we did so many we'd been touring since even before we get a record deal. So we've been touring and playing everywhere since 1980, and then once we get the record deal, we were doing world tours with every album. So we were away for constantly all the time, and then obviously what comes with that being back in the day is the alcohol comes with it, and then the drugs and everything else, and so it's eventually all catches up with everybody. And by the time 1989 came along, and we were sitting there supposed to be going to be doing another album and stuff, members were leaving and coming back, and then eventually it just we just went, you know what? Everybody was burned. Everybody had their own demon, and it was just like, no, I'm done. And so when it finally split up, it was like we all just went our separate ways, and I never spoke to the guys again until 2006, I think, or 2007.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. No, when we split up, man, we just all booked and just all went our separate ways and never spoke to each other again for a long time. And the only reason we spoke in 2006 and 2007 was because, every year we were always asked to get back together and reform and stuff. And it was mainly for the Japanese. We'd say, man, you guys got to do another album. Let's do this, do that, and come tour and blah, blah, blah. And for whatever reason, one of us, or more than one of us, at the beginning, it was like everybody said, nah. But as time went on, someone would go, well, let's do it. Then somebody else would say, no, I don't want to do it. So it never came to anything. But then when the Japanese called us last time in 2007, we were like, okay. So for the first time, the five of us all agreed at the same time. And went, okay, enough waters went under the bridge. Everybody's cool. Everybody's more level-headed now. Let's do it. But then they decided to do, because what was going to happen was they were going to do an anthology, and they were going to release an anthology, and they eventually did it. They eventually called it, I think they called it Petology or something like that, whatever it was. And they did the first two albums and a live DVD for London and another live thing for Japan or whatever it was. And then after that, it was going to be, okay, well, let's do new material, do an album and do the tour and da-da-da-da-da. And so everybody was up for it. And then all of a sudden, one by one, after all the phone calls all started after the excitement started wearing off, it was like the same shit started happening during phone calls, and people would start arguing. You know what I mean? And it was like, fuck this. No, it's back to the way it was. And so one by one, everybody bailed. And I think at the end of the day, it was me, Gordon, and Gary that were left. And then Gary booked. And then me and Gordon, and it was like, then Gordon just went, nah, fuck it. And I was the lone guy standing. And the Japanese were like, nah, we want the whole band. And da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh, hey, that's cool. Ain't no big deal. And so they did the pairology, and we just never did anything again. So so then fast forward, so that was like 2007. And then fast forward to 2016, I was sitting, I hadn't spoken to, for 2007, I hadn't spoken to them from 2007 to 2016. So.
Wow.
Yeah. When we decided, there was a lot of animosity between the lawyers for a long time.
You're touring on a bus. You're living in each other's underwear, drinking too much, doing whatever else comes your way. You know.
Yeah.
It's expected.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of it just never went away, and that was one of the things because had this all. This might be a question you were going to ask, Chris, so I apologize.
No, it's fine. No, go.
2016 showed up, and I was sitting on the beach in Florida with my daughter, and we're sitting talking, and she's like, why don't you put the band back together? And I was like, what? She's like, why don't you everybody else is putting bands back from that era, why don't you do it? And I'm like, hell, no. So she kept on asking the whole time we were at the beach. And I said, okay, well, maybe when I get home, I'll call Gordon and Gary and just get the lay of the land and see how anybody feels. And so I thought a bit more about it, and then I called up Gary, which totally freaked him out because he picked up the phone and I had to get his number for these other people. And so he's like, how the fuck did you get my phone number? and I was like, well, hey, nice to talk to you as well. And so he starts laughing in the twos. He's like, well, what? He says, well, how you doing? I said, I'm doing great. How about you? He's like, no, fine. And I said, you want to put the band back together? And he's like, no way. I was like, he goes, I've been thinking about that. I says, well, you want to try it? He goes, yeah. He says, I'm in, but you're going to have to call Gordon. And I said, okay. So he gave me Gordon's number. I called Gordon, and him and I started the dialogue and started talking, and everything went cool. And then we called the bass player, then we called Punky, or I called everybody, and eventually I said, okay, let's have a conference call. And we started that way. But then it dragged out for about, 6, 7, 8 months, to the point where I didn't think it was going to happen. And then I was in New Orleans. This is bad. But I'm sitting in a bar on Bourbon Street, and I'm getting hammered and having a great time, and my phone goes, and I'm like, where the fuck is this? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh shit, it's Gordon. So I'm like, hey dude, I said, how you doing? He's like, you want to put the band back together? And I said, didn't we have this conversation about 8 fucking months ago? and he's like, yeah. He says, like, but let's just do it. Everybody's in. And I was like, okay, I'm in. As long as if you say everybody's in, then I'm definitely in. And so I flew that was like in August. Yeah, that was August. And then I flew in September, like a month later, to London. And I walked into a rehearsal studio, and really think about this. None of us have seen each other for 25 years. Okay. Wow. And so I walk into the studio, and everybody's looking at each other, and we're like, damn, man, you've changed. Well, you've changed. And so it was weird, but it was great. And we said, okay, well, let's jam and see how it goes. And we tried it out, and it worked. We went, shit, man, this sounds good. So we rehearsed another couple of days, and then I had to fly back to the States. But we realized it could work. And then it was during that point that Punky was talking about how he didn't feel well, but he was up to doing one show. And then Little Brian, the bass player, he just refused to talk to anybody after I came back. And so we finally found out why later. And he's like, his exact line was, he's like, fuck this, man. I'm still mentally scarred for the last time we were on.
Nice.
So he was a bass player, and so he just booked. He bailed on the whole thing, and so we ended up getting. And then Gary, it was dragging on too long for Gary, and Gary decided that he wanted to do his own thing, and so it left me, Gordon, and Punky. And so we got another bass player, another drummer, and said, "Now let's go for this. Let's do it." And that's the way it's progressed. So
pretty cool.
That's
Kris?
great. Well. You're the singer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, no, you're fine, man.
Please forgive me.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Do you play guitar?
Yeah. I mean, I don't play on stage or anything like that, but I mean, obviously, I've played guitar for years, and I use it to write songs and stuff. But I don't play live.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't play live.
I'm building my.
I'll leave that to people that are better than me.
No, I asked because I'm building my dream '80s guitar right now. I have
Oh, you are?
I have a vintage Ibanez DT 350, which is like they only made it for 1 year in '84. It's like a destroyer, but more like a star shape.
Oh, wow.
And I need to put pickups in it, and I want it to be like a authentic '80s sound, you know?
Wow.
And I just don't know what pickups to choose. So I was like, oh, maybe you know.
No, I wouldn't be the guy to talk, but I tell you, I'll find out for you and let you know.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'll talk to Gordon and those dudes, and because obviously Gordon's been getting some guitars made as well. Because he's got guitars out the ass, man. He's got tons of them. Because back in the day, we had deals with Washburn and Gibson and a bunch of other stuff. So he got some special guitar. He had his own guitar collection that was done by Haymie, guitar.
Wow.
And those were the Phantoms. Those were the blue and red, and they had blue and black, and then they get red and black, and so he had a whole collection of them at the time. And so he's just getting a new Phantom made, actually. So and it's just like you. He wants it back, authentic 80s sound with a 80s pickups, everything, just from what it was back in the day, just to stick through a Marshall head.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And just jam it out. So, so I can find out from him easy peasy.
I mean, it's kind of a weird question for me to ask since we're interviewing him. I'm just like, if you know anything
problem.
If anyone's ever met me, they know that I'll just shove myself into anything.
Typical Canadian.
Yeah, fucking, we're polite.
There you go.
We're polite, but we're pushy.
Hey, where did you live in Canada?
Vancouver.
Oh, I've got family living in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah, whereabouts?
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue. I haven't seen them in for so long, but I know my aunt and her husband lived there, and then their two kids live there. So, I mean, my brother back in Scotland, my family go visit them and do all that kind of stuff, but I haven't been over there for years, so I couldn't remember where. I just know it's Vancouver. They used to live in Toronto. Then they moved to Vancouver.
Vancouver is a beautiful city. Beautiful city.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it is a beautiful place.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyways.
That's all I've got, Hamie. Kris, you got anything else?
Hey, I'm not asking to put Vagisil in anything, so I think we should be okay. You had to catch the beginning of Bruce's eyes conversation. My dog has a yeast infection on his paws. So,
there you go.
So Bruce phones, and my dog is like beside me, and I turn around, and he's licking his paw, and I'm like, shit, Bruce, give me 1 second. I got to put Vagisil on my dog's paw. He's just
sorry, Hamie. This is not the most professional podcast going. We're all over the map, but
sounds good to me, man. Sounds good. Sounds real. So that's cool.
Hey, if people want to get in touch with you or find you on the web, how can they do that?
Well, actually, we're on Instagram, and obviously you can get us on the Heavy Pettin official, heavypettinofficial.com. You can get us on Facebook, all that kind of stuff. We're basically on. I guess we're on everything these days.
Okay.
So, and I'm terrible about it because hey, I've got I've got a brand new iPhone, and sometimes I look at it and go, "What the fuck? Why are you talking to me? Why is this? What button did I press? What the hell did I do? And I'm saying, I mean, I don't know how many times I've done something, and all of a sudden it's like 3-4 in the morning in Britain, and I'm videoing everybody. I'm video calling everybody, and they're picking up the phone. They're like,
nice.
"What the fuck are you doing?" Nice. And I'm like, "Oh, sorry. I never knew I was doing it." They're like, "Good God, man, it's 4 in the morning for fuck's sake." Okay, nice. Sorry. Technically, as my wife says, I am technically challenged.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure, guys. My pleasure.
Another fantastic one.
What a nice guy.
What a great interview. Again, we seem to get some really good ones.
Oh, yeah.
He sat through you telling him about putting Vagisil on your dog. So if he didn't hang up at that point.
I just felt that we had a rapport going, and it was, I could bring it up again.
Boy, I got so many emails after the first one where you rehashed that story of the bathroom.
Oh, God.
Right. So now we're just going to add more shit to the emails.
Pimples on the ass, ball sacks, and Vagisil on dog's paws.
Hey, thanks for listening. I encourage all you guys, if you're not familiar with Heavy Pettin, go out and check them out. If you are familiar, this is going to be a great interview.
Yeah, super nice guys. Check it out. I can't wait to check out their new record, too.
And thanks for listening.
Cheers.
Keep it metal.
Metal.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hyden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.